Welcome back to Cabin Maker. Today we follow Eric, a mechanical engineer and structural carpenter, on his project to build a car maintenance garage from pallet wood, working alone in freezing temperatures and falling snow. Let's dive straight into the site to witness this practical construction process right now. The Yanmar excavator scoops crushed stone from a large pile and spreads it evenly over the HPI liner in front of the log cabin to prepare a drainage subbase for the foundation. Eric begins placing red wooden formwork boards around the foundation, using a drill to secure them firmly into the gravel base with long screws. The level check is meticulously carried out using a spirit level to keep the foundation elevation tolerance under 1 millimeter. Before cutting the formwork with a handheld circular saw, the concrete mixer truck pours high-grade fresh concrete directly on the reinforced gravel base, as Eric uses a finishing trowel to smooth out the surface of the foundation corner, creating a stable long-term load. Very base for the garage, to completely eliminate the risk of moisture from the ground. Eric used a circular saw-to-cut green pressure-treated lumber and applies a specialized alkaline-resistant wood, preservative against termites, to the entire surface. After laying a black damp, proof membrane over the cured concrete to prevent rising moisture, Eric positions the green wooden plates as the perimeter sill plates around the foundation. Eric uses a rotary hammer drill to bore deep into the concrete foundation and securely anchors the sill plates using grade 8 chemical anchors. With the help of the Yanmar excavator, the raw wooden pallets are moved into place for Eric to erect them vertically and secure them directly to the load. Bury sill plate with long screws. Eric aligns each subsequent wooden pallet along the gravel edge, using a circular saw to trim off the excess, and fastens them tight together to form a complete perimeter wall system. To increase the structural bending stability of the walls, Eric slides a long wooden beam horizontally through the pallet openings, inserts wooden blocking with a hammer for positioning, and screws them in to secure the entire corner framing system at various elevations. On the upper wall, adjacent to the log cabin, Eric stands on a step stool to adjust the horizontal top plate, using a spirit level to balance the entire system before screwing in the corner lap joints. Eric installs the load. Very LVL beams spanning from the top of the pallet frame to the roof structure of the adjacent wooden shed to create a sturdy long-span load distribution system. Eric balances and walks directly on the wooden beam system to test the static load, bearing capacity, and mechanical stability of the roof frame connection before installing the necked purlins. On a specialized trialer, the wooden purlins are measured and notched with dovetail joints by Eric using a circular saw and a reciprocating saw, keeping the tolerance under 2 millimeters. Eric carries the notched purlin to the top of the wall, securing it to the framing with heavy-duty metal angle brackets, and screws deep in the wood grain using a high-torque impact driver. Eric hoists the load, bury OSB boards on the roof, laying them flush against each other, and uses a spirit level to check for perfect flatness before trimming the boards along a straight guide with a circular saw. thermal insulation roof structure. From the inside, Eric places the old glass window frames in the cabin's wooden will openings, aligning the frame dimension precisely with the rough openings built into the pallet wall to achieve absolute wind proofing in freezing temperatures. Eric uses a can of expanding polyurethane foam to fill the gaps around the wooden window frames, to completely eliminate any thermal bridging. After tapping the ceiling joists into position with a rubber mallet, Eric proceeds to mount the specialized green windbreak boards on the exterior walls to withstand the harsh winter winds. On the sloped garage roof, Eric rolls out dark gray roofing felt, smooth it along the length of the OSB boards, and covering it with a thin plastic moisture barrier to prevent rainwater from seeping deep in the wood grain. To thoroughly eliminate any residual moisture in the structural timber before insulating, Eric places the Harvia wood burning stove into the inner corner of the cabin and lights a fire to dry out the entire interior space. Eric uses a utility knife to cut the mineral wool insulation bands and skillfully packs them tightly in the cavities of the pallet wood walls before covering the inner wall surface with protective plywood sheathing. Eric used an angle grinder to make precise cuts on the Harvia stove's stainless steel chimney flue, sending a shower of sparks flying along the workbench. Eric measures the gray fireproof backing boards and the chimney insulation, assembling them around the stove's combustion chamber area to ensure absolute fire safety when running at full capacity. Securely stapling the brown vapor barrier membrane over the wall surface. heavy snowfall, Eric and his partner cover the roof system with a protective tarp and the entrance before hoisting the heavy-duty, orange-red wooden roll-up door into position, standing from inside the garage. Eric aligns the travel path and mounts the heavy-duty metal slide track frame to the ceiling beams using a precision to ensure the roll-up door glides smooth without binding. Using a handheld drill, Eric securely fastens the metal tracks to the overhead LVL beams, ensuring they can withstand the dynamic load when the roll-up door is in motion. Eric untacks the large rolls of mineral wool insulation, measures them, and climbs up to pack the insulation tightly between the wooden ceiling joists to completely prevent interior moisture from penetrating the insulation. Eric staples a plastic vapor barrier membrane to cover the entire wooden ceiling surface and the load-bearing beam corners near the ceiling. Under the glare of work lights at night, Eric cuts OSB boards with a handheld circular saw and lifts the panels up against the ceiling framing, screwing them in place to securely seal the insulation inside. Eric clears the concrete foundation floor of sawdust and debris using a handheld Makita blower, preparing the site for final inspection. Before finishing the final exterior wool in the snow, Eric stretches and fastens the exterior weather barrier membrane, measures and cuts the OSB boards with a circular saw, then carries them over to screw them tightly on the vertical wall framing. Eric has successfully completed the construction of the maintenance garage from wood pallets. Eric has successfully completed the construction of the maintenance garage from wood pallets with a sturdy post and beam support system, a dry vapor barrier, and a robust new roof. The structure achieves optimal wind-resistant heat retention in all weather conditions. This workshop is now ready for practical use, built to last and stand safe through the years.